Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this, our recap of this past weekend's action across the pond in Liverpool. Natasha Jonas, the defending champion, against the challenger, Mikaela Mayer, who to a lot of people seems a woman hard done by the judges. Cries of a robbery immediately after the fight from the fans and some of the fighters, the people in boxing themselves. Let's talk about what we saw in the first round. You saw the defending champion come out hard and fast, get off to a fast start. Natasha Jonas was very explosive in the first round, not so much in the second. Mikaela Mayer, at least to me, took control thereafter, sweeping rounds 2, 3, and 4 on my card.
How'd she do it?
The second round, I had Mikaela Mayer taking control and landing the cleaner punches, walking down Natasha Jonas. In the third round, saw Mikaela Mayer land several right hands, big ones, pushing back Natasha Jonas, who landed some good body shots, but couldn't hold her position, couldn't hold the center of the ring, and was getting pushed back by the seemingly bigger and stronger Mikaela Mayer. I gave rounds 2, 3, and 4 to Mikaela. Round 5 seemed like a swing round to me, where Natasha got off to a good start, but Mikaela had a strong finish, so it's a round you could have swung either way, and in a situation like that, just save yourself a headache and swing the round to the hometown fighter, as that's what the judges are likely to do. And that took care of the first half of the fight, which was competitive in spots, but in the second half was all Mayer. I had Mikaela Mayer winning the 6th round behind being the busier fighter and better in the exchange at close range, clean punches, and compact hooks mid-range to inside. I anticipated ahead of the fight that Mikaela would be better in the exchange, and at least to me she was in the 6th round. In the 7th round, which I also gave to Mikaela Mayer, she was throwing cleaner punches long range from the outside coming in, and on the inside she was still throwing the better, shorter, sharper shots. In the 7th, in the 8th, once again, she was busier on the inside than Natasha, backing her up. At this point, I had Mikaela Mayer well ahead. And it's not like Natasha Jonas wasn't fighting hard to fight Mikaela Mayer off, but throughout, and especially in the second half of the fight, Mikaela Mayer just seemed the bigger, stronger puncher. Listen, I had Mikaela Mayer sweeping the entire second half of the fight. The entire second half. For me and my money, this looked to be an either 8-2 to 7-3 kind of fight in favor of Mikaela Mayer. I struggled to find 3 decisive rounds to give to Natasha Jonas. 7-3, 6-4 if you're generous, but 6-4 in favor of Mikaela Mayer. There's no way you're going to convince me that Natasha Jonas won this fight, won it legitimately. You're not. Not when Mikaela Mayer managed to outland Natasha Jonas in 7 out of the 10 rounds. 7 of them. You're not. It was a fan-friendly fight. It was an entertaining fight, a shootout, but it's a shootout that, for me, Mikaela won clearly, and it's not close. Don't pretend that it is, because people don't have adverse reactions to a fight's outcome like this one when the fight is close enough that it could have gone either way. No, this is what happens when somebody gets screwed, when somebody gets jobbed. I saw anybody from Barry McGuigan to his son Shane McGuigan to Carolyn Dubois to Sandy Ryan saying Mikaela won the fight. It was a situation to where Mikaela Mayer, who's the younger, fresher fighter, and as I anticipated, the faster fighter, but also the longer fighter, she couldn't miss Natasha Jonas with the straight punches from the outside coming in, particularly the right hand. She couldn't miss her with the right hand down the pipe long range or the counter left hook short range in the exchange. And even if Natasha Jonas is landing a couple of punches here and there in the exchange, she's not backing Mikaela Mayer off, backing her into the ropes the way that Mikaela was backing her into the ropes and unloading. It was so obvious that Mikaela Mayer was the stronger fighter of the two and the busier fighter of the two in the round and in the fight overall. By every quantifiable metric that you can think of, Mikaela Mayer won this fight. The eye-catching shots, the eye-catching punches, they were coming from Mikaela, snapping Natasha Jonas's head back. The straight punches and long-range shots from the outside coming in, and the hooks, the counter hooks, mid-range, was the prevailing aesthetic throughout. To see Mikaela Mayer walking Natasha Jonas down, backing her into the ropes as Natasha couldn't hold the center of the ring, couldn't hold her position, and was fighting for real estate but getting pushed back. To me, she lost the fight. And not just to me. To a lot of people, she lost the fight. If you're paying attention, unless you're gonna try to block out the sun with your index finger, pretending you can't see it, pretending it isn't there, but the rest of us, we see it just fine, the same way we see what happened here. It's just a plain old case of home cooking. The hometown fighter got a home-cooked decision, not dissimilar from what we saw in the Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall fight close to 2 years ago. Mikaela Mayer wants a rematch, but she doesn't have a contractual right to one. In spite of there being a rematch clause tacked onto this fight, it was a one-way rematch clause in favor of Natasha, and I don't think they just robbed Mikaela so that they would have to fight her twice. After this, Natasha might set her sights on the winner of McCaskill versus Ivana Habazin, Jessica McCaskill, who's still a champion at this weight and is rumored to have split from Matchroom, so she may be free to go to Boxer and get jobbed on the cards like Mikaela Mayer just got jobbed on the cards. That's the look of it. Mikaela Mayer was the busier, more effective fighter to me. Natasha's punches were not having the effect on Mikaela that Mikaela's punches were having on her. And out of 7, Mikaela Mayer outlanded her in 7 out of the 10 rounds. Natasha Jonas was wearing Mikaela's handiwork on her face. Badly swollen left eye from all those right hands, a busted nose. The true winner of the fight is clear to me, and I'll hear no further arguments about it. Mikaela should have won, but she didn't. She's not the first away fighter that got screwed on the cards, and she won't be the last. And that's what happened. It's as simple as that as far as I'm concerned. She got robbed. In men's lightweight news, 3-division champion Shakur Stevenson posted this to his social media, a caption that reads, "Free agent season this year." It appears that Shakur is very close to reaching the end of his existing deal with Top Rank, and he may have it in his head that he can go somewhere else and negotiate a new deal with a new promoter for the same or more money than he's been making on the Top Rank side of things. But need I remind you that Shakur Stevenson was booed for 36 minutes in his last fight, the fight with Edwin De Los Santos, a replacement for Frank Martin, who decided to go in another direction. He ducked to sit out the rest of the year, last year, and do absolutely nothing but post pictures to his Instagram account. He skipped out on that fight looking for more money. So how much more money did you make not fighting Shakur Stevenson? He's not the focus. Shakur Stevenson is. And what you have to ask yourself is, aside from Top Rank, where can Shakur go campaigning as a lightweight that can accommodate him, that can pay him the same way that Top Rank's been paying him, and simultaneously keep him busy? Where's he gonna go? Where? The PBC? They only have 12 to 14 fight dates, none of which take place in the months of January or February and most of March. It seems their Amazon deal doesn't kick off until the very end of March, which is practically April. You want to go over there? Go over there to fight who? Frank Martin? Isaac Cruz? Javante? Just because you're on the same side of the street as those guys doesn't guarantee that you get those guys, that they make those fights. Need I remind you, David Benavidez wanted to fight Jermall Charlo, but that didn't happen. Gary Russell, he wanted to fight Leo Santa Cruz, but that didn't happen years ago. Spence wanted to fight Thurman, and it never took place. And many years later, Thurman wanted to fight Spence, and it still never took place. Just because you're on the same side of the street as some other guy doesn't mean the fight happens. It's not a guarantee. There really isn't one. This Amazon deal and all of its varying intricacies, or grotesqueries, I should say. We don't know that they're getting a budget from Amazon. What if they're not? What if the rumors are true and it's just a distribution deal? That might mean you can't make the same contract minimums per fight that you've been making with Top Rank. And in order to try and get at that same kind of money, they might put your fights behind a paywall when you're not in demand. I think Shakur is a talented fighter, and I have faith in him. I have faith that he's better than what he showed in his last fight opposite the ring, Edwin De Los Santos. But he has to rectify that wrong. He has to do it, and he still hasn't. And if you have it in your head that you're going to go to the PBC and make the same kind of money that you've been making per fight over there, their way of doing it might be to stick you on pay-per-view, and you're not in demand right now. Do you think people are going to pay $80 to see you? $80 per fight to see you. You that just got booed for 36 minutes in your last fight. And how many times per year will they even have you fighting? Once a year? If that, I mean, are they going to keep you as busy as Top Rank has been keeping you? And do they have the same opponent options? Very soon, Vasyl Lomachenko will be taking on George Kambosos in Australia for the newly vacated IBF title. And I don't think they made that fight just for the sake of making that fight. I think they made that fight with the intention of putting the winner of it in the ring with Shakur. That's what I think is the end game. But if he leaves Top Rank, if he doesn't stay over there, maybe you don't get him. Maybe you don't get access to the winner of that fight. Maybe they put the winner of that fight in there with Muratadya, another young unbeaten fighter they're invested in. Shakur's talking about free agency like he's in high demand right now when he isn't. And if he has it in his head that he's going to go to the PBC and they will better accommodate him than Top Rank has, somebody needs to tell him they don't have a lot of fight dates, but they do have a lot of fighters to accommodate. And with just 12 to 14 fight dates, they may not be able to do that for them, and they may not be able to do that for you. You could try for Matchroom, but they don't have the opponent options, or Golden Boy, but all they've got is William Zepeda. The PBC, they've got a few opponent options, 2 or 3, but they also have very limited resources, and they may not be able to pay you per fight what Top Rank's been paying you per fight. So do you really want to change your decorum right now? One thing about Top Rank is they're not going to twist your arm to try to get you to stay. The reason they've been in this business for so long is because they don't put any one fighter ahead of the company. If you become a liability, they'll let you go. If you get too big in the britches for your own good, get a big head, start thinking you deserve this and you deserve that, they'll cut you loose. You've been on a big platform, so you're still getting exposure, but if you change your decorum, go to the PBC, to get you the kind of money that you want, they're going to stick your fights behind a paywall, and less people are going to see you. But go ahead and try your luck. Wouldn't be the first fighter that got ahead of himself thinking that he's already arrived and he's already a star and already deserving of certain perks that he hasn't yet earned. Situations like this one in boxing are a dime a dozen, like Ryan's rift with Golden Boy and Teofimo's with Top Rank. Now, apparently Shakur's got a problem with them too. Well, have it your way, hot shot. Just in keeping with the theme of all things lightweight and super lightweight, things having not worked out between Romero and Ryan Garcia, Rolly took to his social media and he said, fuck Princess Ryan Garcia, fuck Oscar De La Fishnets, and fuck DAZN, the shittiest streaming network out there, for wasting my time, and more importantly, wasting the entire boxing world's time. It's disgusting to see how you guys do business, then trying to go behind my back, offering Pitbull an offer, then claiming I outpriced myself. Y'all fucked up. Now it's Rolly versus Pitbull on Amazon Prime, the largest network in boxing history. This fight is an explosion. Rolly versus Pitbull isn't bigger than Ryan versus Pitbull or Ryan versus Rolly. That's the truth. Ryan has more of a profile and is more popular than the both of yous. So if you're looking to Isaac to be an alternative to Ryan, well, that's a smaller fight. A smaller fight that will end up bringing in less pay-per-view buys overall. To top it all off, where you're pursuing a fight with Isaac, so is Ryan. Ryan took to his Instagram stories and posted a caption that reads, Isaac, you know we are trying to make a fight. How about you come show me what you are about? Sign the contract and let's see who's the truth. The way it breaks down, if you're Isaac, opposite the ring Rolly, you may or may not get a shot at a title, and you'll end up selling less pay-per-views than you would with Ryan, whereas with Ryan, you don't get the fight for a title, but you will get the chance to make more money. You will have to cross over to DAZN, as you're not the A-side to Ryan Garcia. Hell, since fighting Gervonta Davis, you haven't headlined your own show. They still got you boxing on undercards, and you will have to move up to 140, but sacrifices have to be made in order to get at a bigger bag. So what does Isaac want to do? His team. And Rolly? Well, Rolly may have it in his head that because he has a belt, and because he's a defending champion against Ryan, that he's supposed to be entitled to certain dollar amounts, though he by himself, he doesn't have much marquee value. And outside of conversations on social media, which is free, what does he bring in at the box office? Without a Ryan Garcia. I mean, say you do Romero versus Cruz. Two familiar faces. How many people are going to buy that fight? What are we talking about? 100,000 or a little over 100,000, two if you're lucky.
You won't do with Isaac what you could do with Ryan.
You and your team probably don't want to be honest with yourselves about that Ryan is the A-side fighter to you. There's a glaring disparity between what you did at the box office with Gervonta and what he did at the box office with Gervonta. He's a bigger name than you are, belt or no belt. You have to accept that if you want to get it a bigger bag. I don't think Rolly wants to.
Then don't.
Ishmael Barroso is once again your problem. Ishmael Barroso knocked out O'Hara Davies in one round to become your mandatory challenger. That means you're on the hook. You might have to fight him again. Do you really want to do that? Or do you pay him to step aside so you can fight somebody else? Do you even have the money to do that, or waste? Do you give up your WBA title? Because if you do, you lose a bit of what leverage you got. Broly's pretending like he's in a power position, but he isn't. Now that PBC is in bed with Amazon, they don't have a fight date that we know of until the end of March.
Are you even scheduled to be on that card? If you're not, when are they going to get you out? Because they've only got 12 to 14 fight dates to work with.
He talks about Amazon being this massive platform, the biggest in boxing history. It's a big platform with a lot of subscribers, but that don't mean that they want to buy your fight. This isn't even the first time that the PBC was in bed with a big platform or a big network. You guys were in bed with Fox, one of the biggest terrestrial networks in the country. And in the end, you still got the boot. They still decided not to renew.
Fox reaches millions upon millions upon millions more homes than Showtime did, though in the end, you guys just weren't up to scratch. You couldn't hack it. Now you think it's going to be different because you're in bed with Amazon.
Stick to boxing, because you need to. Rolly Romero is quite literally the weakest link, the easiest champion to beat and win a belt from at 140 pounds.
Yes.
It's only a matter of time before somebody comes along and takes that belt from him. So the smartest thing he can do is put it on the line for the highest bidder. And there ain't that many people offering him big cash for a fight. You can go in there with Isaac instead of Ryan, but you'll end up making less money and selling less pay-per-views in the process. And worse, Isaac might beat you because you suck.
He sucks too. And so does Ryan, but Ryan's more popular than the both of yous. The best money for the both of yous is actually with Ryan, so you can bite the bullet.
Fight Ryan, make a decent-sized bag, or you keep fucking around, go fight Isaac, and make less money.